Well, it is up in the air. It's the big dilemma of our times. The revenue model of old media has been shot, and it's dead and buried 10 feet under. There's no coming back. The second thing that's happening is that there is less of a demand for quality journalism because reading habits are changing. People are simply not reading anymore. You take a subway, or you take the metro, or you take the BART, whatever the public transport system is called in whichever part of the world. And it is quite interesting to see people are generally on their phones. I remember a time not too long ago when people would be reading books or newspapers. So people are not reading anymore. People are on their cell phones. In Japan, this has reached such an extent that people are not having sex. So, cell phones are beating, and social media are beating evolution. So we are up against something incredibly powerful. People are not reading on the one hand. The revenue models have been shot. And there's a third thing. The third thing is that educational standards have dropped worldwide, whatever people say. Part of it is because we've become fixated with tests. We've commoditized education. We have brought in standardized tests worldwide, which means that people are learning to test and not to learn. So the idea of a global citizen engaged with the great issues of the times has waned, ironically, at a time of globalization. So when that has happened, is there a role for the media, or what we call the fourth estate? Because what is the fourth estate? It is nothing but the reflection of society at large. The three estates are generally, in a democracy, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The fourth estate keeps a tab on these three, which tend to develop their own vested interests. It informs the public, so the public can then vote accordingly or put pressure on these institutions. Now, we are living in an age of apathy and ignorance now. People don't care enough. People are almost too comfortable, too consumerist in much of the affluent part of the world and in the affluent sections of the poor parts of the world. And that's the big challenge. We've got to figure out a role for media. Otherwise, society will suffer and democracy will be at threat.